Yes, people, we're back. We're live on YouTube, ready for another dust down. It is Deji Spurs and a view from the stands here in the building, and this has been a long overdue. I think my mate Deji must have flown to Australia or something with the Spurs team for a bit of this post-season absolute hiatus of embarrassment from Tottenham and Newcastle in terms of what they did out on that Australia pre-season tour, the way they did their thing. So I think Deji must have gone out there, and he's finally back from the other side of the world, back with us. But no, we're here to do our thing. We're here to talk Villa. We're here to talk Spurs. We're here to just have a good little catch up, and of course, as well, talking about all things to come. So, Deji, first of all, how was Australia, mate? Did you enjoy it, or that little hiatus from the UK after running your mouth for the last 6 months and none of your predictions coming true? What's happening?
Well, I think the thing I need to say is good day, mate. Do you know what I mean? Good day, mate. Yeah, I mean, look, I've been waiting for this show because, to be honest, I really want to get it done and dusted, and it's a perfect title for this. I've been all right. I mean, I've been doing slow reflections on the season and, this and that. And, in the end, I've concluded that the season was all right for Spurs. I think given the circumstances where Spurs were last season, given the improvement in the way that we play football, given what Postecoglou is trying to do, he's had to inherit a club. So for me, I think in the circumstance, fifth was probably right. I think, so I've been all right. But the truth is, my good friend Josh, a view from the stands, there's nothing for you to be shaking your bum violently about, mate. I mean, you got it over the line with Unai Emery, but the truth of the matter is, mate, if Unai Emery couldn't show any progress this season, I mean, you've got potentially a dusty manager. But look, like I said to you before, it looks like we're going to have another season together. I wasn't expecting to see you ever again in my life, but you guys managing to pip it over the line means that we have another run at it next season. And I just hope for your sake and for your club, I really hope for your club that you make a go of the Champions League and you make a go of the Prem. If not, I will be waiting in the wings, ready to shut you, man, down.
Well, he's spoken, and we'll approach that. Let's quickly shout out the chat then. Big up to Ghost88, who was in earlier, saying about Sesko and Arsenal links. Of course, the transfer rumour mill is going to be spinning like crazy in the next couple of months.
I agree with Ghost, by the way.
Pardon?
I agree with Ghost. I mean, Arsenal fans think I'm out here to troll them, especially Artillero, who's sitting in his underwear with the fan in his face, bashing away at the keyboard. But the truth is, I actually want to see Arsenal be competitive. I want them to be good. And if they go in for Sesko instead of Ivan Toney and, and Isak, then these men deserve what happens next. I predicted that Arsenal will have would have a terrible season next season. And it looks like I could be right so early into pre-season.
Let's not take your predictions biblical, because we're going to be talking about some of your predictions that you've made this season, because they're all here, Dev. They're in the forefront of my mind, and they have been. And I nearly got a tattoo. My first ever tattoo was nearly Deji's predictions that didn't happen. And my God, the tattoo quote for what he said was, God, I've got to start saving some money, because it was a big old sleeve. It wasn't just some drug stamp on my wrist or there. It was a bloody sleeve worth a lot of money. So we'll hold fire on them. But big up to VJ, who's in the house. Big up to VJ. Big up to Luca AFC. Big up to you. Make sure we check out Luca Arturello. The art is in the house. When are you putting my club shirt on your fraud? Well, dates to be confirmed on that, but don't you worry, Art. Don't you worry. That is going to be the big thing. Big up to M. Fuzilia.
I would like Arturo to be there. I would like everyone who wants me to put on their shirts to put on this dusty Arsenal shirt. I would like them to be there. Or I'd rather wear the Villa shirt, to be honest, but go on.
They can see you. Big up to Fraser, hope you're well. Big up to Bosney, who said get Deji some polish. Yes, because there's a lot of dustiness from that side of the screen, isn't there? Absolutely. But yeah, thank you to Luca, who's also signed up to TIFO and for subscribing to both channels. Of course, TIFO as well will be doing our watch along tomorrow. I'll talk about that a bit later on. But don't you worry about that. Big up to Wolf, who says, oh, my name is Wolf, Wolf Christ, divisions in the chat. Of course, Wolfgang division saying that. Big up to Fraser there, man. He said, £2 on my birthday, anyone up? Fraser, happy birthday. I know I wish you birthday. I know I wish you happy birthday on your birthday, but big up to you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you had a great time. And of course, as a Liverpool fan, who knows what's going to happen next season with you? Big up to Eric. He says, the weather's a bit Spursy out of my neck of the woods. Do you know what? That phrase Spursy will never, ever, ever get old. It really won't. Big up to Ryan Thompson in the house. Who else? We've got Pete Tandy, who's in the house. And who else? I'm going to shout out. Glenn, where's the Villa shirt, Deji? Well, listen, Glenn, it's an upgrade on the Villa shirt. We've actually come to the conclusion it's going to be seen in an Arsenal shirt, which will just make things even worse for him. But yeah, big up the clubs. Deji, you know, the phrase club, where are we talking 7-iron, 9-iron, driver, pitch and wedge, or are we talking your football club? What is a club? That's the big question.
What is a club? I'm talking about my club. I'm talking about Tottenham Hotspur. I'm talking about the team that I love, the team that I think about before I go to bed, the team I think about first thing in the morning. It's my club. It's my club, Tottenham Hotspur. So yeah, no, definitely. No, the reason why I say it is because sometimes I just feel like I need to emphasize it. Do you know what I mean? And change it up and emphasize it in that way just shows that kind of venom that I need to see from the boys, from the players in getting the results over the line. So it's my club. In terms of the bloody Arsenal shirt, we'll deal with that. Look, I just want to get this over and I want to get it done and dusted. Stop this delaying, Josh. Stop this painful delaying tactics that you're doing, and let's get this thing over.
So, all right, we will, of course, as well. We'll talk about the Werner thing because, you know, that's, I've seen, been very controversial in the Tottenham fan base and online, and people have had their opinions. So we'll ask Deji on that in a bit. But guys, make sure you are smashing a like on both the streams and subscribing as well. We do appreciate the support, as always, from everyone out here. I know it's a late night one. It was a bit of a random one. Deji and I, as I said, I've had to wait for him to come back from Australia. He told me his flight landed today with the Spurs team. So, yeah, we've got him locked in. But you said at the start, you don't understand why Villa fans are shaking their bum violently. They're getting top four. Yeah. Explain. Why can't I not celebrate?
You can't, because Villa fans can't have it both ways. So Villa fans will tell me that Unai Emery is the best thing since sliced bread. He's such a great manager, blah, blah. If he's such a great manager, then he should be doing what he done. That's the truth. We shouldn't have expected anything else. And the fact of the matter is, Unai Emery was not given a decent chance at Arsenal. I think the Arsenal fan base must be ruined the fact that they should have allowed him. I'm still convinced that Unai Emery is the reason why Arteta won his FA Cup in that first season. Because in Arteta's time at Arsenal, since he's had a whole season at the club, he's not won a single trophy. So for me, the reason why Arteta managed to win a trophy halfway into that season is because Unai had laid the foundations for him to crack on and get the job and take Arsenal over the line. To be fair, though, I think with the players, you had more of your influential players available than Spurs, than Newcastle, than Liverpool, and you were able to do a job. But the most important thing is that you had your striker, Ollie Watkins. You know what I mean? Is decent. I have to concede on that point. And Spurs played without a striker all season. What I can say, though, is Aston Villa managed to finish fourth in a season where a lot of teams were poor. Let's be real. Man City, by their standards, even though they did the 4P, they were pretty rubbish this season by their own standards. Liverpool was crap. Spurs was pretty rubbish, you know what I mean, because we're on the rebuild. Chelsea's crap. United's crap. Newcastle was pretty much decimated. So for me, there was only two teams that really had less of a rocky season. The first being Arsenal had hardly any bloody injuries, and yet they shake their bum violently. And then the second was bloody Villa. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, Konsa went out for a bit. And let's be real, because I don't want to hear from Josh tonight telling me, oh, we didn't have Tyrone Mings. The truth of the matter is, even if Tyrone Mings was not injured, he would not be starting. let's just keep it real. You had McGinn played pretty much the whole season. You had that David Luiz pretty much playing the whole season. Pau Torres pretty much playing.
He's done it again, guys.
You had the Giza Digne. You had the bloody Cash, and then Konza were chopping it up. I mean, you had Leon Bailey. I mean, come on, man. Don't be coming there shaking your bum. Go through some of the injury demise that some of the bigger clubs have gone through, and you wouldn't have had this. I'm telling you now, had Spurs not had this level of suspension and injuries that we had, we probably would have finished second or third this season. That's a fact. But we are where we are. You guys, given the circumstances, managed to do your thing, and let's take it. But legitimately, deep down, even though you managed to finish fourth, and I saw your little rant, Josh. I saw your little rant calling man out. Absolutely disgraceful. One of the most disgraceful 12 minutes of my bloody life I've ever seen. The thing is, mate, is Villa fans didn't even want Champions League. You didn't want it because you man ain't ready. You man aren't ready for it. Do you get what I'm saying? So what is the point in you man going there to do what? So let me ask you now, Josh, and let me ask the people in the chat live and direct. What are you expecting Villa to do in the Champions League?
I will answer that for you.
Please, can you please?
I will tell you. Well, I hope you won't know this because you're not in the Champions League next season. And so we'll be on different streams for European nights, okay, just to let you know, because there'll be a Champions League night, and I'll be there for that one on Tuesday and Wednesday. Deji, you'll be on the Thursday, so make sure hopefully your Thursdays are free next year. Please make sure from September, you'll probably get knocked out as well. So September to December, just keep your Thursday nights free. Do whatever you want on Thursdays after Christmas, because you'll probably be out. You'll probably claim as well that you threw the competition as well. But Deji, we will, as you know, it's not a group stage anymore. It's a league table. I expect Aston Villa not to finish in the bottom 8, which means that we wouldn't make it to the qualifier. The top 8, for those of you who are unaware, in the Champions League qualify automatically to the quarterfinals. Anyone from 9th to, I think it's everyone maths is correct, something like 26, okay, play each other in a ladder of 2-legged playoff. I expect Villa to be in that 2-legged playoff, and I expect Villa to get through. I'm expecting Villa to get out of the league table and get through a 2-legged playoff. And I'm sat here and I'm listening to the
get through to what though? So you're saying that Villa won't finish in the top 8, but you might finish anywhere between 9 and 26. Is that what you're telling me?
I think that's and that's what I'm saying. And basically, what it is that is finishing third, the equivalent of finishing third in a Champions League group stage. However, finishing third, or in this format now, allows you to play a 2-legged knockout game in which you then go head to head with another team. We will not get relegated. Trust me, click this. Remember what I said. We will not be embarrassed and be relegated from the Champions League, so to call it. Okay? We will not. We will make sure we're there. But
make sure you're there. When was the last time you played decent European opposition?
Right,
and don't say
Olympiacos.
This season. Olympiacos is one of the dustiest teams I've ever seen in my life. Dusty. What are we talking? Europa Conference League settings? Can I just ask a quick question though, Josh? If you man finish 25th or below, is that a disgrace? Because for me, it's a disgrace. Because let's be real, there's some minnows in this Champions League this coming season, and you man might be one of them.
Listen, I want us to give a good go to Champions League. We will learn from Newcastle's failures. We'll learn from Manchester United's failures of the Champions League. They embarrassed the English pyramid by failing to qualify for the Europa League by coming last, both of them. We won't be doing the same. But Deji, what you are failing to realise is we had 3 ACL injuries this season. So how dare you?
To who though? To who? Who were the ACL injuries?
The disrespect I've just heard you said.
No, who were they to though? Tyrone Mings.
Tyrone Mings. Do not disrespect him.
I don't think we're going to ever see Tyrone Mings again.
Probably shouldn't play football again after having 3 ACL injuries, but the mindset of that guy is unbelievable. Another baller for you, Emiliano Buendia, Emi Buendia. And
Not
the
seen him
third
for 2
one
years.
was Kamara, just after Christmas, our only holding defensive midfielder, a key to our team, was injured. Okay, so big injuries there. We've had Luca Dimas out at the start of the season. We have Moreno chopping and changing. We've had more injuries than the mainstream media, and this is why I did that rant video, Deji, because people like you and the mainstream media have just decided to ignore Aston Villa's injuries. Jacob Ramsey, another brother who's had a stop-start
Jacob
season.
Ramsey doesn't get into your team even if he's fit. So stop making noise.
Hold on. Is it not
Iron
about
Mings doesn't get in, so stop making
Is
noise.
it
And
not
neither does
about
Jacob
having a
Ramsey.
squad? Because when I have to tell you the players that we had on our bench come the end of the season, Amari Kellyman, Kane Kessler-Hayden, Callum Chambers, Caden Young, I'm shouting you names that no one's heard of outside of Aston Villa. That's why squad depth matters. So Unai Emery, literally, the only changes he could make off a bench to change the game was John Duran and at times Zaniolo. That's how scarce we were. And yet we finished top 4. And I looked at your bench the other day and I thought, okay, interesting. So you've still got experiences of the likes of Giovanni Lo Celso on your bench or Højbjerg. It doesn't matter.
These are dusty players.
It doesn't matter. You've still got enough experience. You've got winners on that bench. You've got players who have played at the top level. We've got kids.
These players. These are dusty players, my brother.
Don't care. We've got kids sat on our bench. Kids. And we're still getting top 4. So when you ask me, why does Tyrone Mings, Buendia, Kamara, Ramsey all make a difference? They make 4 big influential differences, whether it's starting or off the bench. Plus,
I only want to hear about your starters. I don't want to be hearing about players coming off the bench. Let's not pretend that some of these players will be different.
That's when you won the league, though, isn't it? At the start of the season, 8 games in. That was when the Premier League was done because you had your best 11 out. Tottenham won the best 11 league title, guys. When everyone could field their best 11s, Tottenham won it. Just remember.
Yeah, and then we got injured, and then we weren't able to play the same way. That's legit.
Listen.
That's a legit thing to say, but I hear what you're saying. But a lot of the players that you're mentioning today are players that probably don't start in your team. Apart from Kamara, none of them players start.
Listen,
none of them start though. True or false? Buendia doesn't start. I don't think if Buendia was fit, who does he replace in your midfield? If you had can you name your starting 11? Name your starting 11 now. If all players fit, if everything was all hunky dory. Name your best 11.
Well, do you know what? That's so weird. Someone actually texted me that earlier. And asked me to do it. So I'm going to read you the text I had, okay? Now, this might kill my point because I didn't actually include Emi Buendia because I sort of...
Wait, taken.
Do you want to hear my team? This is for the chat as well, right? I think Unai Emery is going to evolve into Pep Guardiola style. And I think he slowly started doing that, wanting to play a double pivot. I can see Villa next season playing a 3-back because Pau Torres in a back 2 is not quick enough. He needs a bit of protection and cover. So I think if you made no signings now, this would be my Villa team. And I want to know what everyone thinks of this. It's a 3-box midfield like Pep plays, 2 pivot, 2 in front, coming off the flanks. Okay, so it's Martinez in goal. Konsa, Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings. That's my back 3. That's
Tyrone Mings.
Tyrone Mings, left side of a back 3, pace, power there. In my double pivot, why are you laughing? He's better than Chicken Royale. He's better than Pedro Puo. He's better than whoever else. Doggy. Right? Then we've got the double pivot of Kamara and Luiz. In front of them, I've got John McGinn and Morgan Rogers with Bailey, Watkins, and then I'm going with Ramsey. So I've got the likes of Moussa Diaby. I've got the likes of Emi Buendia still in the ranks, in the bench, right? And that is where my club, as you would say, when we have everyone fit, and this is not with any new signings, and our bench is bolstered, this team cooks. That 3-box 3 is going to be unreal. That 3-box 3, we're transforming to it. Why the disrespect on Mings?
Tottenham, that Tyrone Mings is not the guy. He showed potential, but then we realised that I think he flattered to deceive. Tyrone Mings to me is like a Ben Davis. Do you know what I mean? He's a squad player. Someone who's a utility man who can come in and do a job, but he's not. I don't look, and you can clip this. What's today's date? The 31st of May, 2024. Tyrone Mings fit doesn't start for Villa. Let's just be honest. You're being nice by playing a back three. If Unai Emery is gonna go with a back two, and Mings doesn't start. That's just a fact. So you shaking your bum.
I'll tell you why.
That's very noble. It's very noble.
He doesn't like fullback. He doesn't like. Matty Cash is dusted. Dusted. I feel like he's going to give Pau Torres a bit more protection. I think we're going to evolve, and I think there is that change. Because my manager, tactically, poos all over your manager when it comes to
hold on, man. And we're gonna get into this. Let me just chat to some of the people in the chat, Michael Huggins and Vian and all these other Aston Villa fans shaking their bum, sitting there in their underwear, bashing away at the keyboard. I am talking truth here. The truth of the matter is Tyrone Mings is not that guy. He's not starting in your best 11. Tyrone Mings showed potential back in the day, and then he's not lived up to expectation. I've got a lot of Villa fans. My cousin's a Villa fan. I've got a lot of friends who are Villa fan, and Josh is a Villa fan as well. Everyone has told me that the player that makes up your back line is Konsa. And I ain't got not a negative word to say. When Konsa's there, he can play centre-back, he can play right-back. And when he was injured, that's when you man started flopping. Now, if you're going to tell me, if I'm chatting rubbish about Konsa, you feel free to call me all the names under the sun. But Mings ain't that guy. Let's be real. He's not missed. He was not missed this season whilst being injured. So that is my comeback. Does this guy know how good Mings is? Yes. Me and Mings could go toe-to-toe right now and there'd be no difference between us. Yes. What does he do on the pitch? What I would do? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, so let's not get it twisted.
Hold on. What? Tell me where Tyrone Mings should be playing then, if he's not Champions League fodder. Where is he? What level? Which club would you expect to see a Tyrone Mings play for?
Real talk.
Real talk.
Bournemouth.
Sorry, top 10.
Bournemouth. I think he's a Bournemouth. I'm not sure he get maybe Brighton. Maybe. Or definitely West Ham. He's West Ham material. Right, not any higher than that. He's definitely not top 6, top 7, top 8. He's not Villa material. He's not Newcastle material, and he's not the top 6 material. He's not the big 6.
Wow. Well, the comments aren't. Well, yeah. I mean, you've addressed the comments on that, and big up to Rugby. So, did he honour his last bets? Well, we will be talking about. I'll conclude on that because, of course, I have to call. I've got to. Deji's taking me to the sword about Aston Villa, but I've got to come. We're going to start taking the Spurs.
Can I tell you why I can take you to the sword with Aston Villa?
Tell me why.
Yeah. Okay. Do I need to answer this? Tell me this, Dej. When Mings and Konsa were both, it was Mings that was playing for England. Remember that he's a beast, and we've missed him immensely this season. No, you haven't missed him immensely. He was playing for England because at the time, Konsa wasn't getting a sniff. This season, Konsa has come to the fore, and to be honest, I think it's a disgrace. Is he in an England team? I don't even think he's in an England team, and I think Konsa...
He's in the squad.
He's in the squad, and he deserves it. Konsa is the one who's legit here. He's legit baller. Mings had his time and it's passed him by. Now, the reason why I can speak with chest is because the last time we met, Josh, I told you that Crystal Palace was going to slap up your team and that you could get hurt really, really bad. And you were saying, nah, Dej, we'll beat Villa, blah, blah, blah. Bruv, you got slapped 5-0. 5-0. I predicted that. All the man, them, Lee Collison will agree with me. He was in the chat when I was telling you, I guaranteed that you were going to get slapped up by Aston Villa. So you Villa fans shaking your bum violently like you've forgotten that you got dealt with by Palace. Wants to go to Europe and do what? Wants to play Mings and do what?
Jeff,
no way.
You're looking at that Palace. Dead. John McGinn was still drinking whiskey. We were absolutely battered. We didn't give a flying F for that game. The only reason that game mattered was for Ollie Watkins to try and score his 20th goal. Who gives a toss about that Palace result? Talk to me about the Liverpool game then. Talk to me about the Liverpool game.
I'll come.
That's the one that mattered.
I'll speak about the Liverpool game, but there's this fella in the chat who's his name is AVFC Aston Villa 85. Budget expressions back in the house. Your face is a budget expressions, mate. Your face, mate, and and the boot. Come if you got a big mouth. Come say it to my face. You donut sitting there in your Tesco Y fronts. Shut your face and come and talk to me right now. Do you get me? Anyway, let's carry on, my good friend. I'm sorry, but he's pissing me off.
God, the Villa chat's got the Villa have cracked him. The Villa have cracked him. But we didn't care about that Palace game. We showed what we were when it came to the Liverpool game, and that's where top four was basically decided. And that was important. That was important for us. That was huge. That was momentous, and that was massive. And so, yeah, you can say that I gave you a bit of chest about that, but I'm telling you, I gave you chest about Villa finishing top four for months. You laughed at me. You and Cass were shameless. Yeah. You were shameless. We've got the clips. We've got the receipts. You told me that I was in Dulu. You said I was a Muppet. You said it was always going to be me. You even, I think, said that I was going to finish 5th or 6th at one point. You thought Man United could potentially overtake us. I remember that saying. But I told you, Deji, if we beat Arsenal, and that was before that Arsenal game, I said to you and Cass, if after that Arsenal game, Aston Villa sat in 4th, I back us to go all the way, and it came true. Mm-hmm. And my predictions came true. But it's now time for you to face the jury about some of your shouts this season. Now the season is done. I want to hear why, how you came to some of your predictions. First one.
Go on.
Tottenham would finish above Arsenal.
Yeah. So I can explain.
I hope you can. I really hope you can.
So first and foremost, obviously we've talked about earlier the fact that the first 10 games Tottenham was sourcing, playing orange ball. We were playing it well. And then we had the debacle. We had the Chelsea game, the battle at the bridge, but really it was our gaff where things went a bit tits up, to be honest. Players were out. Yeah. I think Matters was out for 11 or 12 games. Van de Ven was out for 11 or 12 games. And, it took them a while. I think we even rushed them back. They were not ready to come back when they did, and hence why we saw some of the poor form towards the end of the season. What we lacked, and people had warned me, is we lacked a little bit of strength and depth. But I think where Tottenham's Achilles heel was, and where I would slightly rate Unai over Postecoglou this season, is that at least Unai was trying to adapt. We saw elements of that when we played you at your gaff. He tried to nullify Tottenham's threats, but you guys got slapped up 4-0. But at least he was thinking about it. He was thinking about, okay, this is their strengths. How can we nullify it? It didn't work, and we move on. But at least he was testing and learning. Where Postecoglou went wrong is that there were certain games we didn't have the personnel to play our normal brand of football. And if you don't have the personnel, common sense would say just keep it simple. Emerson Royale struggles at right back. You're going to play him at left back against Mo Salah on his own. Then the instruction I would be giving Emerson Royale is, look, Mo Salah is on your side, kick him down, pull down his shorts, fly kick him in the back of his head, get yellow card. Do whatever you can to frustrate him and not allow him to have any space and play his game. But you're now asking for this brother to do an inverted role. That don't make no sense. So he was too rigid. He was still too wedded to his style of play, even when he didn't have the personnel to play it. Had he just done the right thing, I would even go as far. Had he noticed that Van de Ven could have done the job on the left-hand side, I think Tottenham would have got it over the line. He only needed to play Van de Ven at left back in the Newcastle game and job done. He didn't do that. And that's why we suffered the way that we suffered. So for me, that's why I big up Unai over Postecoglou. He was able to adapt. Postecoglou wasn't. Now, if I was in charge of that Spurs team, I would have adapted and we would have got top 4 for sure. 100%.
I love the confidence. Just coming to the comments then. Of course, I agree on this and some of my videos, as Deji earmarked it earlier, my 12-minute shameless video that Deji called, that people aren't doing their research. And it's the Sky greedy 6 is all I can keep saying of the narrative. And one day Villa will break that. But I agree. I think that even us finishing top 4, I still think there's some lazy journalism going on still to this day right now. I do. So let's see what happens. Is this a dual stream? Says Talking Beer.
Should be.
It is. Big up to you. It is live on Deji Spurs and it is live on A View from the Stand. So please, by showing both supporters, go on both streams, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to both A View from the Stands and Deji Spurs, please. Appreciate it. We really do. But yeah, the thing that Bozzy said here about the Emerson Royale one, I feel I agree on this one. So yeah, but Deji has to prove to the club and the players that don't fit the style of play, and then it helps to clear out your squad. You have touched on Ange maybe being a saboteur, however you want to say it. And actually, is he trying to expose to Daniel Levy some dustiness at your club and saying, listen, mate, in his Australian accent,
yeah,
I need more players. I need better than this. What do you think, Dej? What is there a hint of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely if he was to go on and get third. I mean, remember Pochettino got us to a Champions League final and he hadn't been able to get any players for 18 months. You're just doing their job for him if you're able to spend minimal and able to produce the goods. So I think there was a little bit of that, but also I think that Postecoglou has a little bit of a pep in him. And what I mean by pep is that we all know what Man City is going to do. The trouble is, even though you know what they're going to do, you can't stop him. And that's the thing with Ongeball. He doesn't care that you know he's going to play the high line. He doesn't care that you know that he's going to be attacking down the wings, that he's going to be crossing the ball on the floor instead of in the air. He doesn't care because he thinks that his style of play is so effective that even though you know what we're going to do, you can't stop us. The issue, though, is, and I think the point you're making rightly, Josh, is that this only works when you have the right players. And I take case in point Van der Ven. Before, no one knew who Van der Ven was. And nobody taught. I'm sure there's other pacey centre-backs in the Prem. Konza is quite pacey, for example. But this whole thing about having a pacey centre-back and Van der Ven playing that role, you can see that you need a Van der Ven style of player if you want to be playing that sort of high line. So Tottenham need to now go out and get the midfielders who can also fit into this system. Part of the reason why Højbjerg is struggling with this is because it doesn't work for him. It's too fast. It's too fluid. And I would even go as far as to say our front three, we haven't quite got that right. And Postecoglou has come out. Once we're able to bring in the players, the Ezes, the Elises of this world, then I think Tottenham soars. Then I think we kick on. Remember, he only brought in 4 players. We changed our keeper, Van der Ven and Madders. That was it. And then Draguzin, who hardly got a sniff anyway, he came in Jan. That is pretty much Conte's squad. And that was set up for a 3-4-3 formation. So the fact that he even got this out of those players who are all playing in a system that goes against their principles and their natural skill set, I think is credit to the man. And you know, even if he brings in 3 or 4 players this summer that can play his system, that would give us a total of 7. We're now starting to cook. Do you know what I mean? And things are looking up. As for Bayern, today, if I see you, mate, I'll fuck you in the bloody back of your head in the petrol station, mate. You know what I'm saying? But go on.
So am I right in saying you need more? Depth is important.
Depth is important.
Are you telling me that the quality and the signings and the depth of Tottenham's squad is important?
No, 100%, bro. 100%. The depth is important.
So why can't I talk depth with Tyrone Mings and Emi Buendia and Jacob Ramsey? Why can't I have those brothers in as depth?
I mean, Josh, if you want to have them in as depth, that just shows the level of a fan you are. I mean, and the only thing I would say is I'm not surprised that you would consider those 3 players as depth, because you would be shaking your bum violently for a Carabao Cup. And that's all I've got to say about that. You know, if you're calling those 3 players depth, there is nothing that your club is going to do in the Champions League. You'd be wasting your time, you'd be wasting the neutrals' time, and you'd be wasting the other European teams' time if that's what you're calling depth.
Dead. You would snap your hand off for Mings in your squad. You would snap your hand off for Buendia in your squad, Rams in your squad. So that is unbelievable. But
we don't want any of them players.
Next season, right? Be real with me now. I went to the FA Cup as a neutral last weekend, and I sat there, Dad, and I was like, what I would do for Aston Villa to be at this FA Cup final, and for our fan base to have a day out of Wembley and go on and win the bloody thing. And this is where I think you know what's going to come next year.
Yeah.
I'm desperate to win a trophy like that next season, a Carabao or an FA Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Look me in the eyes and tell the viewers right now, from your bottom of your heart, how badly do you want to win one of them? Would you take one of them next season?
So I would take one of them. Like, I would take a bottle of water if I was doing the London Marathon. If it's available and I can get a swig, by all means, I'll take it. But I'm not needing that to finish off the race.
So you would not even... Are you celebrating? Would there be any Deji Spurs videos going, we've won the Carabao Cup, we finally broke the trophy curse, we finally have won a trophy since...
The only thing, and I'm being brutally honest, the only thing you might see is me and my kids at the half-time getting a burger at Wembley, because these burgers are really nice. I'm just being honest. I'll be at the game, and I'll be enjoying the refreshments probably more than
it's £7.25 for a pint at Wembley. So you're telling me there'll be no Deji Spurs content to celebrate the Carabao Cup?
For me, winning the FA Cup is a bit like 3 points.
Not bad. Did you not see Manchester United? Did the FA Cup not almost salvage United's season almost?
No, what the FA Cup done was it salvaged the Premier League. It didn't salvage Manchester United's season. I mean, Eric Ten Hag is a madman. I mean, this brother came out to say this is what he does. He wins trophies, yeah? Trying to hide from the fact that Man United was extremely dusty, and this is by far their worst performance in the Premier League ever. And he's tried to camouflage that with the fact that they managed to win an FA Cup. And may I just add, it's an FA Cup win against the Man City side that wasn't even bothered. Did Man City look bothered that they had lost? No, they didn't. Did Pep look bothered? Did the players look bothered?
Give you that.
Do you know they weren't bothered?
In the stands, I'll be really real with you. I was on the halfway line, so I had Man City and United fans either side of me. City fans didn't really care. All they cared about was singing about winning it 4 times in a row. And the only players who actually looked bothered for Man City was Jack Grealish, because he didn't get on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
So, a lot of people, how can you disrespect the FA Cup? I'm not disrespecting the FA Cup because I'm disrespecting our heritage or English heritage. It was disrespected from Arsene Wenger days. Arsene Wenger used to play his kids in the FA Cup, and then because of that, all the other teams didn't take it serious. But even if you watch that game, Man City didn't even try. Man City should be carving that Man United team open for breakfast. That team was dusty. I mean, they had Fernandes up top. They didn't have a striker, for crying out loud, and yet they ended up losing. Do you know what I mean? It was a mistake by Guardiola, and then, do you know what I'm saying? Let's be real. That was a City team way, way below par, and they were not even bothered. Why? Because these men have bigger fish to fry. They only give a damn about the Champions League. They only give a damn about the Prem. However, I will say this. I wanted Man United to win that game because I don't know, Josh, if you saw the show, but I am starting to feel that Man City is taking the piss out of the Premier League. We are no different to the Scottish League. We are no different to the Spanish League or the Bundesliga. we've become a one-team league. It's Man City, and then everyone else is playing for pretty much second and fourth. Do you know what I mean? Second onwards. And that, for me, is a damning indictment on the Prem. It's a damning indictment on both of our clubs and the other clubs in the league where, City were poor and they still won. I don't expect City to be that poor next season. So that means City are going to win the league five years on the trot. We should all, especially everyone in the chat, me, all of us, we should all be ashamed of ourselves because our league has become a joke.
Interesting. But yeah, guys, make sure you're smashing the like button, subscribe to both channels as well. Probably going to go for another 15, 20 minutes or so before we wrap up this. But look, we are going to look at the future in a bit, and I'm going to come to Pete Tandy's question in a second. But I do think this comment from Michael Huggins is key. You have to understand that 5 years ago, Villa were actually mid-table in the Championship, right? And you were competing, Deji was competing in Champions League finals. We're building. We're progressing. There's always a why are you not? Where is Spurs' progression? Where is Spurs' sort of,
We are progressing.
You're not.
Well,
Tell me.
We were eighth. We were fifth. So,
oh wow.
So no. Understand this, and this is part of the reason why I got beef with the Cups. Remember, under Pochettino, six years or 5 years, we were getting regular Champions League football. We got to a final. We had a second. We even had a third in that running. And then the pursuit of the Carabao Cup, the pursuit of any trophy, meant that we sold our soul to the devil. Yeah. Tottenham style of play went out the window, and we brought in this boring, drab football for 4 years that won us nothing. And then what we've decided to do is to go back to our heritage, go back to playing, because Spurs is renowned for playing sexy football, free-flowing football. Might not win any trophies, but we do play and we are easy on the eye. That's what we did this season. Even as a neutral, Josh, you have to agree, Tottenham's games were quite entertaining games. We've gone back to where we came from, do you get me, in terms of our style of play. And we finished fifth. Now we're going to build back. I expect Spurs next season to get Champions League football. Now, I take the point from Mark Huggins there about Villa. Look, Villa is on a build. I guess for me, the reason why Villa has been disrespected is because to the neutral, apart from Ollie Watkins and a couple players, the players that you shake your bum for, everyone else is looking at them and saying, yeah, they're all right. Do you know what I mean? They're all right. You know, it's not a big deal. And maybe that is because we are so ignorant of the fact, maybe we're too ignorant of your players, and we should sit down and study your players more. We should watch your games more. But also, you've literally come from nowhere. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you guys just shot you guys up. Really and truly, if Villa fans were being genuine, you could almost argue you getting Champions League place this season is ahead of schedule. I think if you had carried on in this kind of steady progression, you should be getting Champions League, if not next season or the season after. We weren't expecting you to be getting top four now. And I think that's the issue.
We did. We had a 5-year plan. And at the end of, and this was the
but you're 2 years into that plan.
No. The owners had a 5-year plan. Wow. And they took us over 5 years ago. And they said in the end of the 5th year, and Dean Smith has come out and said this as well, the owners told Dean Smith when he was in the Championship, I want Champions League football in 5 years. Unai has done that. Hence why he's been rewarded for 5 years. But I just want to congratulate you, Dej, on your progress on playing nice football. Well done, Deji Spurs. Well done. Chat, we've already had the Spurs won the league in October trophy, but now Deji has just shown me the progress by telling me Tottenham now play great football again. Oh, it's so dusty. You sound like an Arsenal fan celebrating mediocrity and challenging for the title and putting pressure on. My club has had progressive finishes each year. We're moving up the table each year.
Okay, so you finished 7th last year and you finished 4th this year. Okay.
And we're finishing top three season coming. I promise you that. And we're winning the trophy.
You don't even believe it.
Deji, my club is on a trajectory that no one can stop. No one can stop. Your club's gone from
With that squad.
Your club's gone from Champions League final to missing out on Europe to bumming top 4 and blowing it out the park in a poor way.
So, Josh, can I ask you a question? Because obviously I can see you shaking your bum violently here for your club, and that's very noble of you. For me, I feel like Villa, you need about 4. There's positions. I think you need a solid left back. I think your midfield needs work. I still think you need maybe your left wing looking a bit weak. You know what I mean? Ollie Watkins is all right, but is he a 20-plus, Premier League goal scorer? Who are you bringing in this summer that's going to take you to the top 3?
Okay. So first of all, what you are failing, and all these BS mainstream media pundits who lick the ass of the Sky Greedy 6, right? Because they don't do their homework. What you are forgetting is Unai Emery develops and coaches players at a rate that no other manager in this league does. Pep Guardiola needs to sign proven players, and they have to go into a system. Doesn't improve them drastically. He just needs good players. Unai Emery has improved, and I can name you players like that who Unai's improved. He's improved Esri Konsa. He's improved John McGinn. He's improved Leon Bailey. He's improved Ollie Watkins. He's improved Morgan Rogers in a couple of months. This guy will improve our current squad. There are still players. Moussa Diaby is going to feel like a new signing next season. Emi Buendia is going to come back under a season under Unai, fully fit, going again. His tactics. We're going to feel players are going to progress and improve. So I'm not too worried about what comes in. I'm worried about what Unai does. But we're hearing players, Champions League experienced players coming in. Hermoso from Atletico Madrid to come and play in this is what I'm talking about, a back 3. Coming into, why are you laughing? Coming into a back 3. Hermoso. Obviously, there's one player that I really don't want Villa to sign, which is Conor Gallagher. And we've been linked to Conor Gallagher, who I am not a fan of. But there we go. Okay. But all I know is Monchi, Unai Emery, whoever they bring in, will be good. Now, there'll be some Villa fans in here, and I've seen a few of you who are already trying to downplay, we won't finish top 4 next season. We won't do it. Listen, if we have a season of what we've done this year with players missing, not quite the finished article, still a lot more to come, and we are going to add better players to this squad. You tell me why we can't finish top 4. Don't tell me Chelsea are going to get better. Oh, well done. Chelsea, who had 6 games on the watch looking good, and then sacked their manager. Right? Man United is a roller coaster. You don't know what they're going to do. This Spurs team, I'm sorry, but forever Spursy. That's all I'm going to say.
No, you can't say that, bro, because we finished how many points behind you?
We finished we
finished 2 points behind you under Unai. Your savior.
2 seasons in a row we finished above you. 2 seasons in a row we finished above you. And Chelsea.
Are you being for real? This is Postecoglou's first season. Your manager's been in Villa. Is it a season and a half? Has he done 2 whole seasons yet?
No, that was his first full season. That was his first full season.
So you've had a season and a half under Unai, and my gaffer has only been in charge a season now, and he was only 2 points behind.
Right.
Just let that sink in.
Okay.
So in terms of the amount of time he's had with your squad and the amount of time he's had with my squad, to only be 2 points behind is nothing for you to. I'd be quite worried because we have the ability at Spurs to bring in players that I'm not so sure you can bring in even with Champions League.
Deji. Listen, stop putting timelines on managers. Ange, he came in and he bottled top 4. I don't care if it's his first season. He freaking bottled it. My manager doesn't do that. I'm looking at your ambition, and Timo Werner stinks of the lack of ambition, as lots of you. And we're going to have to talk about this quickly. He stinks of the lack of ambition that I am seeing from Spurs. And I'm going to see Villa play a smart window here. And I am so confident, Deji, so confident that we will finish above you next season. I have no doubt about it. There is nothing in your recipe right now to show me that you're going to finish above us, because I will state the facts again. We have finished above you for the last 2 seasons. We are now playing in Champions League football where we can attract better players. We have a squad, a young squad, that is improving week on week. Give me a reason why Spurs are going to finish above us. Give me one reason. I want facts. I don't want speculation. Yeah. I want facts.
Look, bro, I think pound for pound, Tottenham has a better team than Aston Villa. If our first 11 was to play your best 11, you get slapped up. And in fact, we saw a little bit of that when we went to Villa Park and we pumped you guys 4-0. Now, with my club, we have been linked with Ivan Toney. One of the big issues that Tottenham was struggling with this season was we didn't have a number 9. We didn't have someone who could hold up the ball, spin and shoot. I think Ivan Toney for 40 mil would be a steal for Tottenham Hotspur, and Son on the left, because I never want to see Son in the number 9 role again. And then, look, Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, whoever they want to stick out on the right. I think then Tottenham, we've also been linked with Eze. Bring Eze in, and we've got a front three of Ivan Toney, Eze and Son, along with a midfield of Madders, Pape Sarr, and we've been linked with this Atalanta number 6, Edison. Bring them brothers in, bro, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. That's how we become. That's how we finish a rugby.
I'm going to guarantee you. I will guarantee you, whatever you want, you will not sign either Ivan Toney or Eze.
I think if Tottenham wants to be considered a big team, then we need to make a statement signing.
Yes.
And the statements that we need to be making is Ivan Toney and Eze. Eze has already expressed interest in joining my club. But what I'm trying to say is that where is your big game player? Because look, let me just educate you, Josh, because you know the fact that you'd be shaking your bum for the Carabao Cup makes me know and understand that you don't understand the levels. When you get to Champions League football, when you're going in a title race, you need big game players. You need winners. You need top 6, top 4 type players. Now, the players that you've mentioned, they're not top 6 type players. I need to be hearing the Ezes. I need to be hearing the Elises. I need to be hearing the Netos. I need to be hearing the Osimhens, coming into your Villa squad to reinforce you and make you better so you can kick on. There isn't one player that you've mentioned that you've been linked in that improves your starting 11. It's not your squad. It's your starting 11. And until you improve your starting 11, it is long for Villa. We're going to get more of the same. And I think the only reason why Villa will be top 4, but you will finish below Spurs next season, mark my words. This is the 31st of May, 2024, and I'm about to drop the full-on bomber. The only reason why Villa finished top 4 is because Chelsea will remain dusty. Let's be real. It was stupid of Chelsea to get rid of Pochettino the way they did when he just started cooking and it looked like things had started to click. I think Arne Slot is going to need a couple of seasons because those are huge Wellington boots to fill in Klopp. And Erik ten Hag has proved himself to be one of the dustiest managers we've ever seen at Manchester United. So you can write them 3 clubs out. The other thing is, I've got a conspiracy theory that the higher-ups at Newcastle are waiting for an excuse to get Eddie Howe out. They do not want Eddie Howe, and so they're not going to back him in the summer. They're going to keep with that squad, and they're going to use this excuse of FFP. Eddie Howe has a struggling Newcastle team, and then midway through the season, Eddie Howe's got rid of, and they bring in a Mourinho or Conte type. That is the plan for Newcastle, which means Man City will be there because Pep is going to be there, and it's his final season, thank God. Arteta's likely to be there. Not sure where they finish, but they'll definitely finish probably in and around the top 4. Spurs will be there because Postecoglou would have bought the players that he needs to get us a little step closer, although top 4 for me and the Carabao will suffice not because I want a Carabao, but to put all you naysayers to bed. And I think Villa will be fourth simply because all the rest were pretty dusty.
So we've heard the man, and he's put us in the top 4 with his club. I mean, it would be lovely to share top 4 with you, Deji, because I like you. But it's a big statement you've just made there, a huge statement. And I fear, right? This is what I fear for you. I fear you are going into a transfer window like this. You have booked a new holiday, and you've gone into the estate agents, and they've gone, yes, you, come sit down. Come sit down. You look like a nice chap. We're going to give you this package holiday. All you can eat, all you can drink, beachside view, luxury penthouse apartment. You look like a really guy, and we believe you should have success. Come sit down. That's what I feel like you get. Reality is, you get on the plane, Deji, and you turn up to the airport, and you get on the plane, and straight away, there's a problem with your seats. There's a problem with the legroom. Your luggage goes missing. But it's okay because they find it. They find your luggage. You arrive at the apartment. Okay, bit of a shaky start. This is like your transfer window. Bit of a shaky start. But the luggage is like Timo Werner coming in. Let's quickly make him happy again. Here's Timo. Here's your luggage. And you arrive. And again, the people cause you really sorry about that. Really sorry. But remember, you've got this brand spanking new hotel, lovely views. It's going to be luxurious. But I promise you, Deji, that's the window we're going to offer you. This is the holiday we're going to offer you. You're going to get there, and it's the complete opposite. You've wasted so much money.
Talking Villa here.
You've disappointed your family. Your poor kids are heartbroken because you've disappointed them. Like you're going to be disappointing your fan base. You are going to turn up disappointed. And instead of having 5-star luxury, someone said it in the chat, you're going to be looking at Tony. You're going to end up with someone like Yusuf Poulsen. You're going to end up with dusty players.
Can I speak to you and Michael Huggins and Peter Collins and all my other good friends in the chat who are Villa fans? I think you're talking about your club. And let me explain why I think you're talking about you. Let me tell you why. Someone put in the chat, and I agree with them. It might have been Yusuf. See, where you're getting it twisted is that Europe was dusty this year. So your little European run was Europa Conference League, right? You played Europa Conference League and you got 4th. Yeah? Europa Conference League is not Champions League football. To play Real Madrid on Wednesday, because let's be real, you are, in terms of ranking, you're at the bottom coefficient. You're not even 3rd. You're the bottom, yeah? So I know they've got the whole league format, but had we gone in the 4? So you have the opportunity where you could be playing Real Madrid, yeah, and then playing Liverpool on the weekend. I don't know how Aston Villa copes with that. You don't. And Unai, let me tell you this. Unai's record, we all know that when Unai plays competitive European competition, because the Europa Conference League is not competitive, that's why Olympiacos won the bloody thing. When you're playing with the big boys, he has never been able to manage. So one of the things he always sacrifices. So if you have a good Champions League run, which is highly unlikely, that means you will be flat on your buttocks in the league because he can't do both. I think this is what's going to happen. Here's the prediction for all you Villa fans. Unai Emery's special. I actually think Villa win the Europa League.
Can I tell you something?
But you don't finish top 4.
Can I say something quite controversial? But I genuinely believe this. And you might shake your head at me, but I've got to say it, and I genuinely believe this from my heart. And I might even have to full screen myself for this one, Dej. Are you ready?
Full it, mate.
The Champions League is easier to compete in than the Conference League.
Huh?
And the reason I'm saying that is because the Conference League is an unknown cauldron of piss. It is an unknown cauldron of piss, and you have no idea what you're coming up against. You have no idea what atmosphere you're going to, and half these teams you can't really know what to expect. The Champions League with the amount of scouts, with the amount of analysis, with the amount of statistical approach you can have on a game, you know what you're coming up with. And I promise you this, going away to some of the places we did on a Thursday night is going to be different to a little trip to Madrid on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night. And you might laugh at me at this, but just watch. Just watch. The squad needed for that, and I'm being deadly serious on that. And I'm going to bring back Deji. I'm bringing deadly serious on that.
Look, I mean, you've got your own people in the chat turning against you, Josh, because that is the biggest pile of piss I've heard in a minute. Saying that the Europa Conference League is more of a challenge than the Champions League is like telling me that it's all about the personality. Looks has nothing to do with it. It's one of those safety things that you would say. The truth of the matter is, mate, you're chatting absolutely hogwash, straight out of bloody whatever that movie's called. Do you know what I mean? It's wash and Hogwarts. The Champions League is too tough, mate. To be managing against the PSGs, the Real Madrids, and then coming back to the Prem, you can't hack it. And Unai has proved himself over the years that he is a master in the European competitions. That's why you got so far in the Conference League. I mean, you got to the bloody semi-final for crying out loud. I think you win the Europa League, but you finish 6th or 7th. I really do. But you have a trophy. And I think, dare I say it, I think Villa fans would be happy with that. I think, with how shameless you've been, Josh, you would take a 7th place finish with a Europa League win. True or false?
I am ready for people to come back and remind you. I'm ready. Look, I'll eat whatever I have to if I'm wrong about Champions League. But I am confident with my footballing background, with my football experience, I'm confident to say this. Players will be ready, more prepared. So will the clubs when it comes to Champions League football. Okay, I promise you this. The Conference League is a freaking cauldron. It's a cauldron. And I'll tell you why. Because just look at Liverpool in the Europa League.
Yeah, what about?
It's another example. Liverpool in the Europa League. The English clubs in Europe didn't fare or do their homework well enough. And I just believe, I just want to say this, and I'll be happy if I'm wrong. But I've just got this feeling. I've got this feeling, chat, that really what we're going into is something more secure, more back. And John Lawson said, tell me a football background. Well, I'm a UEFA B licensed coach. I've worked at a football academy, a professional football academy, as a phase coach for 2 seasons at Forest Green Rovers, and I've played my bit as well. So I would like to say that I've got enough experience of knowing a little bit. Not saying big, but I'm not sat here going, I'm ex-Premier League manager. But what I'm telling you is how I see football and how I see the games is. We did not expect, for example, Deji, Olympiacos to come and press us at Villa Park the way they did. No one expected that in the first leg of the semi-final. No one had Olympiacos down to do what they did in the brave manner they took us on. So that is something not what we could predict. I think when you go to a Atletico Madrid, for example, let's just take an Atletico Madrid. Dej, I'm playing Atletico Madrid at home, Villa versus Atletico Madrid. How do you expect Atletico Madrid to set up?
Atletico Madrid are going to sit back, obviously, do what they do, the dusty football, and then hit you on the counter. That's what they do, but that's a Simeone tactic.
Okay, but we know to expect that, right?
Yeah.
We know to expect that. So this is my point. I think you can sort of know more about these high-quality opposition. Doesn't mean you can stop it. I'm not saying it means, yes, we're guaranteed to stop it.
My
what
thing,
to expect.
I hear what you're saying, but my thing, and I think the point you're missing, and I'm glad that you mentioned your kind of pedigree and your UEFA B background. You know, if you've played the game, that when you have tough opposition in the week and then you've got them on the weekend, the issue for players is recovery, because just the amount of energy, the amount of bruises, the amount of time you take to recover when you play a high level game, a Big Six match, is different to the sort of energy, injuries you're likely to pick up when you play against minnows. And what I'm saying to you is you spent the season playing against minnows, which means that really and truly, Villa were able to focus on the league. You were more focused on the league than you were the Europa Conference League. But now you're walking into a situation where your brain is literally split in two. You're cutting off. You can't disrespect the Champions League because it's the greatest competition, club competition you can play in, and you can't disrespect the Prem. This is why I rate both competitions as equal. Champions League is just as good as the Prem, and your players, there isn't one player in your squad currently that can juggle the two. They can't. Because they've not done it.
I disagree on that last point. I think we can.
How Torres?
I think we can. I think it's a good point, and it's just reminded me.
There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of thinking.
It has reminded me of why people call the Championship one of the hardest leagues in the world. Because you play weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek constantly, in which even the great Leicester City and Ipswich, who was so far clear of everyone, right?
Yeah, but you're playing midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek against Leicester. You're playing against bloody Peterborough.
But it doesn't. And this is my point, right? But this is my point. Leicester City, in the end, and I know it's a very rare example, but I'm trying to show this extent point of where they would come up against these minnows and struggling. They were struggling and they came over the line, right? Because of this whole mental state of it. So this is why I do think playing Tuesday or Wednesday and going into a Saturday is just going to suit Villa a little bit more. It's going to help us a little bit more. I think we're going to be more prepared for it.
Fair. Can I ask you a quick question? Because I need to deal with. I won't name the person until you answer it, but it is someone in the chat who's made a really funny statement. And big up to VJ in the building.
Yeah, I just want to see the chats out. Big up to VJ. Big up to Dino as well. He said, "How many semis and finals have we made again, Josh?" Well, listen, cups are important, and we have failed in cups in that sense. Yeah, we didn't do as well in the cups as well, like Dino, but we came fourth, and that's all that freaking matters. Champions League football is massive. Big up to Peter Collins as well, who said, "Cheers, can't wait for the new season." Absolutely, and I think Deji and I will keep doing this show into next season. We've got a nice little thing going on here. You guys seem to enjoy it, and I love this comment. I'll pin this one out. It said, "Connor said this is a great podcast. No holding back from either of you. I'm used to people being polite to each other on vids like this." Look, Deji and I have mutual respect. We can say anything we want to each other, and we respect it. And off camera, it wouldn't change a thing. We just talk real. But Deji, what have you got to throw at me?
The question is, and it's in response to someone in the chat, would you take Van de Ven over Pau Torres? Because Gary H said he wouldn't have one Spurs player, honestly. That's why I threw that question at my guy Josh, because you are chatting absolute hogwash if you wouldn't have Van de Ven over Pau Torres. Just be honest. It's okay. It's okay to just be like, yeah. So please answer that question, Josh.
If I could morph Pau Torres and Van de Ven together, you'd have the best centre half in the Premier League by a country mile. I love Pau Torres, but he's not quick enough to be a top level defender. Villa fans, you might try and shoot him out. However, if you can put them together, wow, unbelievable player. But this is why we're going into back three next season, and this is why Pau will be absolutely fine. But Pau on the ball, different class, different kettle of fish to Van de Ven. But Van de Ven's got pace, power that is irreplaceable as a defender. So, yeah, it's a strong attribute. But it's a very good question. So we are going to try and wrap up soon. I just need it sort of just to build up into the Euros in the summer and Deji. Right. First of all, I've got quick fire questions to Deji. Number one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going full screen when I do this. Number one. Are Tottenham going to have a better window than Aston?
Yes. Tottenham by far will have a better window by Aston Villa, partly because I think Tottenham will make a statement signing this summer. I don't know who that could be Eze, that could be even Ivan Toney to a certain degree. Whereas I think Villa fans have mentioned that we don't expect to know any players that you're bringing in this summer. I don't think we would have heard of them.
Okay. Number 2. Will Tottenham, and say this with chest, will Tottenham finish above Aston Villa next season?
1,001,000,000,000% that Spurs will finish above Villa this season. In fact, only because we have a great online relationship, I can see this show going on. But I don't think we'll be having many conversations. It won't be a rivalry conversation. It will just be me checking in on what you guys are doing.
I love that response. And finally, thanks for checking in on us, Dej. I appreciate you looking out for us. Do you know what I mean? And finally, the big important question: are Spurs going to win a trophy this coming season, and what will that trophy?
So I'm saying that Spurs have a 5-year plan under Postecoglou, and we've just had the season 1. Season 2, what we are hoping for is a top 4 finish. Season 3, we're hoping for a top 3 finish. Season 4, we're hoping to be in the top 2. And in season 5, 2028, we are hoping to win the league. That is the run-in. If we pick up a trophy along the way, great. Like I said, I wouldn't be shaking my bum violently. It'd be like running the London Marathon and having a swig of water. So I can see Spurs between now and 2028 picking up at least 2 trophies and winning the league.
Tonight, he's such a politician. The way he answered that actually, such a politician.
I'm just telling you what I think.
And Postecoglou isn't going to be there for 5 years, bro. He's not going to be there for 5 years. You are mad if you think he's going to be there for 5 years. You're crazy, huh?
This brother is going to do. I think he's going to do what Pochettino was unable to do. Pochettino was great for my club. He was fantastic. He just couldn't get it over the line. I believe Tottenham get a couple of trophies under Postecoglou before he decides to leave and take the Liverpool job.
So we've got to wait to 2028 to congratulate you on winning the league. Is that what you're telling me?
Bruv, I don't. If you, mate, I think any Spurs fan would bite your hand off now if you were guaranteed to win the league pretty much by 2028. I think Villa fans are quite happy to wait. If you told a Villa fan you're going to win the Champions League by 2030, you would wait. You would be happy to wait and believe in the project because by 2030 you're bringing home a Champions League or a Prem. So what is 4 more years? What is 4 years? I've been waiting all my life. So for me, yeah, I can do it. 2028 Spurs win the league.
Dino said Deji would be over the moon for a Carabao. Deep down he would. Like he deep down he would.
I'm telling you now, and you can clip it. If Spurs win the Carabao Cup, I will be like this. I'll be nonchalant. I won't even flinch.
Dej, you do realise Villa will win the Premier League or Champions League before Spurs ever do?
Hell no. Let me go on record to tell you this. I don't expect Villa. I'm not expecting Villa to win a trophy before 2030. So let's just get that out of the way. Although, no, let me take that back. I do think potentially next season you could win the Europa League. But if you don't win the Europa League next season, you're done, in my opinion. But I will go as far as to say I'm not even looking at Villa. You're saying you think Villa will win the league before Spurs. I'm saying that Spurs will win the league before Arsenal. What?
I do agree. No, you're both so dusty. Neither of you are going to win the league.
Arteta won't win the league before Arsenal. So keep it up.
Big up to James Meakin. Said appreciate the content, boys, out the Villa. There is the Aldi Cup coming as well. I did forget that. We're not going to count those tin pot things, but yeah. Dino said again for the super. He's on about pre-season trophies. He must be the way Deji is talking. He must be trying to count. Pre-season trophies, but we've had his predictions, and of course we will be keeping an eye on those predictions and whatnot. And listen, I'm thinking, Dej, actually, it's got me thinking, and I wonder if the chat would like to see it. who fancies a Villa Spurs combined 11 show where we debate and argue it out and do a few polls with the chat? I'm really,
What do you want to do? I would like to do one with you pretty sharpish on the current squad.
Yes.
And then I would like to do one just before the season starts with all the transfers. Yeah, with the signings.
Yeah, let me know, chat, if you would like that as well. I think that'd be a great one for us to really go to toe with a Spurs Villa combined 11 current squad. You guys can have an input on that as well. That'd be good. And yeah, of course, as well, we'll be doing that. But Deji, we got the Euros coming up. Just a final quick say on that. I'm hoping that maybe you and I could maybe do like a watch along together on a Euros or something. We'll have a chat, watch the game, and it'd be good to chat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I would love that. I'll be doing quite a few watch-alongs because I'll be on a scouting mission. I personally decided that I'm not waiting for the papers to tell me which players Spurs are linked with, but rather I'm going to be on the front foot. I'll be telling the Spurs bloody board who they should be going to get, and so I'll be doing my little scouts work in the Euros. So yeah, definitely, Josh. Let's combine. Let's do some streams. For me, I would pretty much take the bloody old French squad, in all honesty. But yeah, France or England for me should win it. And I think the rest of the teams are fully dusty, in my opinion. You know, dusty.
So you're only scouting France then? So you just scouting France, basically.
For me, I think France are the best team, closely followed by us. In all honesty, and you got to think we got to the semis in the World Cup. France was in the final.
Yeah.
Who's better than us? Germany can't do nothing. Spain can't do nothing. Italy can't do nothing. Croatia can't do nothing. I mean, they can't do nothing.
Love it. But no, I appreciate that. And of course, do keep an eye on Deji's content, guys. As always, we do appreciate it. And there's some funny comments as well. We do appreciate all the comments that come in. Do not worry, we do read them all.
The only comment I don't appreciate is somebody who calls themselves IJ1 1982.
There we go. Deji doesn't appreciate that. Deji Ange's right-hand man, exactly. He's doing a blessing for the Spurs thing and doing all his scouting. So hopefully, as I said, do keep an eye out for lots of Deji content coming up. If you guys want to see a watch-along tomorrow for the Champions League, I have been advertising it on my community page. I'm going to put a quick link in now. I'm actually going over to another platform to try it. It's called Tifo. I've put the thing in here. And you can sign up. All you have to do is put your email in and put AVFTS, okay, into the referral code. It's a free platform. It's specifically made for watch-alongs. It's in its beta stage. Basically, it's not an official website yet. They're testing to see how it works. They've asked me to come and test the watch-along. I'm doing a bit of free work there and having a look at it. So do come along. Let's see it. The perks of it is, in the chat, you can use GIFs. You can also use emojis and react to people's comments. So where Deji doesn't like someone's comments, for example, ILJ1982, he could put like a thumbs down reaction to that. And you can also have threads and have your own separate thing. So guys, if you do want to come watch me for the Champions League final tomorrow, it will be on here. Do check out my community page. Would love to see some of you come in. We can probably talk about Deji a bit more and recover from some of his statements there. But we're going to watch Dortmund, Real Madrid, and yeah, thank you to everyone who has already signed up for that. And big up to you guys. And the final one, Dusty Spurs and their dusted trophy cabinet. We love it, James. So look, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to Pete, to Paul Reeves, to Ruben, to Arturillo, to James, to Luke AFC, to Nathan, to Steve, to loads of you, Callum, just shouting out the chat, Joseph, Andy, Gary, Jay, loads of you have been in here. We've enjoyed all your comments, Steve, a lot of you. We're going to wrap up. We will see you very soon. Take care. Ta-da.